Well, the Liberals are poised to form a minority government at this point. They're shy of the 172 seats required to form a majority, but that's still a good response from Canadians to the Liberals. As you quite rightly said, a couple of months ago, it was a reverse picture where you had the opposition Conservatives poised to form not only the next government, but a majority government. And now the Conservatives are trailing the Liberals. The latest seat count in terms of one are leading 159 for the Liberals and 140, actually just switched to 161 for the Liberals and 141 for the Conservatives. So the Liberals have a 20-seat lead over the Conservatives, but again, shy of that 172. That's that special mark to reach majority territory.
A minority government, but they are still set for more seats this time round than last time. Also, the general picture of the makeup of the parties is changing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Parliament is going to look a lot different. In the last session, with Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister, you had the New Democrats, another progressive party, in a loose coalition. They had a supply agreement with the Liberals to push through some of their policies, like universal pharmacare for medication, a universal dental plan for Canadians. Now the NDP, the New Democrats, are set to lose their official party status. They're 2 seats shy of the 12 required in the House of Commons. So they only have 10 seats so far. Could that help the Liberals? It would bring them to 170. There's a Green member who's leading. You know, they could ostensibly get to that majority territory just with these loose coalitions. But really, what the next parliament is going to look like is a 2-party parliament, House of Commons, the Liberals and Conservatives. And we haven't seen that in Canada in a very, very long time.
And it's something of a catastrophe for Pierre Poilièvre and his Conservatives. Around 6 weeks ago, they'd been essentially measuring up the drapes, but now it's not even sure that he's going to win his seat.
Well, that's true. Early polling in his riding, which is the riding I live in, and it's also interesting. There's some history there. He was facing 90 other candidates. That's a record in Canadian general election history. Early polls showed that his Liberal challenger was leading, but that was just based on one polling result from one polling station, rather. I doubt he's going to lose his seat, but you're absolutely right. He was measuring the drapes, and now he will remain as official opposition leader, and largely due to Donald Trump. Again, Mark Carney can thank Donald Trump for getting involved in this campaign from day one.
Yeah, I saw the paper that Poilièvre's riding had. It was, about a good couple of feet long, and it was, I believe, a protest against the first-past-the-post system. It's ironic that Trump seems to have cost him, considering he's been so compared to Donald Trump.
Absolutely. Well, it was Trump who took shots at Poilièvre early on, and there was that one phone call between Mark Carney and Donald Trump, and Trump on Truth Social posted some nice things to say about Mark Carney, notwithstanding the fact that he also called him Prime Minister, which, if you recall, he regularly referred to Justin Trudeau as Governor Trudeau, with reference to his dream of making Canada the 51st state. But what to watch is that Mark Carney, in the final days of the campaign, said that he wanted to have a meeting within days of the election with Donald Trump over economic and security matters. So we could see a Trump-Carney summit, perhaps in person, presumably in person, within the week.
So can we get a bit deeper into that? What are some of Carney's policies that have seen him into victory and might see him saddling up, surprisingly, with Donald Trump?
Well, there's 2 things. One was Canada First was Mark Carney's mantra. The pushback against the tariffs from the Trump administration, the pushback against the threats of annexation, this inspiring this new wave of patriotism across Canada. On many levels, Mark Carney could have run as a conservative, fiscally prudent. Given his background, it does make perfect sense. He comes from a banking background. He was governor of two central banks in Canada and England. But really, his main focus during the campaign was Canada first, and that drilled down to not just patriotism, but in terms of how Canada approaches the future economically. By July 1st, he vowed to end the interprovincial trade barriers. For the longest time, manufacturers, companies could export to the U.S. easier than they could across Canada, from, let's say, Ontario to British Columbia. On July 1st, those barriers will be dismantled. So he's trying to inspire more of a domestic market for trade. And also natural resources. Manufacturing. There's going to be a more Canada-centric focus for Canada's economy going forward, particularly in light of what Donald Trump has talked about on the tariff and the annexation fronts.
Lastly, on Pierre Poilièvre, he was a viral sensation when he was had that famous clip eating an apple and taking on the media. Do you think that after this he'll be able to survive?
I don't think his leadership is in question, but I think that's part of the lack of appeal he had for voters. Is that Canadians might have liked some of the Conservative Party's policies, but they never really warmed to Pierre Poilièvre. His smugness, his arrogance. You're referencing the eating the apple in that viral clip. His absolute disdain for reporters of the Parliamentary Press Gallery, of which I'm a member. He forbade us to travel with him during the campaign. That's never, ever happened with a main political party. Will he have to eat crow after this? I doubt it. I think that he's going to dig his heels in and say that they will push harder for the next go-round 4 years from now, or whenever. And the whenever is the possibility of another election, because the fact that if the Liberals only form a minority government, they could fall on a confidence vote if they don't have support from the other three parties in Parliament, the Bloc Québécois in Quebec, which as we speak has 25 seats, the NDP 10, and now the Greens are leading in 2. So if they don't have support from those three parties, we could be back into an election territory. But it's too soon to say. Let's kind of just process the fact that the Liberals came out of nowhere and held on for a fourth consecutive term. So, it's not the majority that Justin Trudeau won 10 years ago, but it's not bad given what was in store just a couple of months ago.